Paris shimmered under the weight of its ambition and decadence, a city where fortunes were made and souls were lost amid its glittering streets and shadowed alleys. Georges Duroy, an impoverished ex-soldier grappling with obscurity, prowled its boulevards with equal measures of hunger and defiance. One fateful evening, he crosses paths with Charles Forestier, an old army comrade now transformed by wealth and success as a journalist. Forestier, exuding the confidence of the self-made, offers Duroy a lifeline, a chance to escape mediocrity. A dinner invitation and a loan for new clothes set Duroy on a path he can barely begin to fathom. That night, the Folies Bergère pulses with an intoxicating chaos. Beneath its kaleidoscopic lights, Forestier's parting advice lingers ominously in Duroy's mind. Women hold the keys to a man's rise in Paris. Duroy, his confidence bolstered yet reckless, seduces a prostitute, burning through his borrowed funds. The night leaves him resolved yet uneasy, his ambition ignited but tethered to risk. Renting formal attire, he braces for the world Forestier promises to unveil. At the dinner, clad in borrowed elegance, Duroy struggles with the tension between his modest roots and his hunger for grandeur. The glittering room hums with power, and he meets Monsieur Walter, the formidable owner of La Vie Française, and other elite figures of Parisian society. As the evening unfolds, the conversation turns to current events and journalism. Forestier, eager to display his friend's potential, mentions Duroy's time in Algeria, describing his vivid storytelling and first-hand experience of the colony's challenges. Monsieur Walter, intrigued, presses Duroy for details. Emboldened by the attention, Duroy shares tales of his military service, painting dramatic pictures of the heat-soaked landscapes, tense skirmishes, and the uneasy coexistence between soldiers and locals. The guests, including the flirtatious Madame de Morel, hang on his words, captivated by his raw authenticity. Walter, sensing an opportunity to enliven his paper with such evocative storytelling, offers Duroy a chance to write an article on Algeria. Madame de Morel, however, takes a deeper interest in the man behind the stories. Her sharp wit and teasing demeanor draw Duroy out of his initial awkwardness, and her boldness amuses him. By the end of the evening, she invites him to call on her sometime, leaving a playful yet unmistakable invitation in her tone. Duroy, captivated by her elegance and vivacity, resolves to accept the offer when the moment feels right. Duroy's elation at the opportunity to write is tinged with anxiety. He has never written professionally. Forestier, noticing his unease, reassures him, but adds a challenge. You're a soldier. You faced worse than a blank page. Besides, you have Madeleine to help you if you're stuck. The comment, casual yet deliberate, plants the idea in Duroy's mind. He resolves to seize the opportunity, even if it means seeking assistance. Later, unsure how to begin, he approaches Madeleine Forestier, Charles's intelligent and perceptive wife. Recognizing her husband's dependence on her editorial skills, Duroy hesitates, but she agrees to help. Sitting across from him with a wry smile, Madeleine listens to his scattered thoughts and begins shaping them into polished prose. Her keen insight and clarity guide him, and under her instruction, Duroy finds a rhythm, his confidence growing with each sentence. When he delivers the article to La Vie Française, Duroy is struck by the bustling energy of the newsroom. Walter reviews his work, nodding approvingly, and decides to publish it immediately. The debut of his article not only marks the beginning of Duroy's journalistic career, but also ignites a flicker of pride that emboldens him to leave his dull clerical job. Yet while the article opens the door to new possibilities, it also sets the stage for the deeper complexities and moral compromises of his journey. Shortly afterward, Duroy pays a visit to Madame de Morel. Her home, though less ostentatious than the salons of Parisian elites, exudes warmth and charm. Their relationship deepens quickly, fueled by her boldness and his newfound confidence. Madame de Morel's audacious charm draws Duroy into a torrid affair. She becomes his confidant and lover, her independence and vivacity offering him both inspiration and escape. Yet their dynamic is not without friction. Duroy's pride bristles at her wealth and autonomy, while her playful dominance challenges his need for control. Their liaison begins to mirror the complexities of Duroy's ambition, enticing yet fraught with tension. Amid the affair, Duroy deftly maneuvers through his circumstances, securing funds under false pretenses from Forestier while grappling with Madeleine's rejection. But she advises Duroy to court the favor of Madame Walter, the influential wife of La Vie Française's proprietor, becomes the next crucial step in his calculated ascent up the social ladder. Embracing his growing aptitude for charm and deceit, Duroy courts Madame Walter, whose infatuation with him opens doors into the city's highest circles. A promotion to chief reporter marks his rise, but the melancholy poet Norbert de Varennes' musings on mortality haunt him, casting doubt over the meaning of his ascent. Forestier's decline of health draws Duroy to Cannes, where he witnesses the withering of ambition in his dying friend. Yet even in death, Forestier's fortunes serve Georges' purpose. Marrying Madeleine, now a widow, secures Duroy's social and financial foundation. Their partnership, pragmatic yet tense, sees them return to Paris as a force to be reckoned with. But whispers of Forestier's lingering influence and Madeleine's intellectual dominance gnaw at Duroy, driving his need to define himself. The simmering tensions explode when Duroy's insecurities compel him to duel those who mock him as Forestier, silencing detractors with bloodshed. Simultaneously, his entanglements with Madame de Morel and Madame Walter grow perilous, weaving a web of deceit that tightens around him. At a lavish soirée, his calculated charm ensnares both Madame Walter and her daughter Susan, deepening his manipulation. In the cloistered shadows of a church, Madame Walter confesses her consuming love for Duroy, a moment that plunges her into despair even as it fortifies his resolve. Their affair, steeped in guilt and secrecy, contrasts his subtle pursuit of Susan, a strategy to secure even greater status. His growing political influence sharpens his appetite for power, but the strain of his lies begins to fray the edges of his ambitions. When Susan elopes with Georges Duroy, scandal erupts, devastating Madame Walter. The fallout destabilizes his relationship with Madame de Morel, whose heartbreak and fury underscore the cost of his duplicity. Yet the grand spectacle of his wedding to Susan silences dissent, cementing his triumph. As George basks in his newfound power, the ghosts of his betrayals loom ever larger. In the shimmering halls of Parisian society, he stands victorious but hollow, haunted by the shadows of ambition's cruel toll.